Mission timer initialized.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Awaiting orders.
Engineering.
Reporting.
Yes.
Ready and waiting. Awaiting orders. Reporting. Ready and waiting.
Commander. For king and country. Yes, sir. On my way.
Reporting. Awaiting orders. Awaiting orders.
Indeed. Commander.
Acknowledged. Of course. Reporting. Agreed. Very well.
Affirmative.
Ready and waiting. Reporting. Affirmative.
Engineering. Commander. On my way. Indeed.
Awaiting orders.
Engineering. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. At once. Very well.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir. Agreed.
Yes.
Ready and waiting.
Commander. Indeed.
Reporting. Of course. Very well.
Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Very well.
Engineering.
Awaiting orders. Acknowledged. Agreed. Very well. Of course.
Moving out.
Yes, sir.
Moving out. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Ready and waiting at once.
On my way. Engineering. Yes, sir.
Awaiting orders.
On my way. Yes, sir. On my way.
Acknowledged. At once.
Moving out.
Of course.
Commander.
As you wish.
Medic reporting.
Yes, sir. Very well.
Yes, sir.
Acknowledged.
Affirmative. Moving out.
Agreed.
On my way. Engineering.
Explosive charge placed.
Commander. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. On my way. Engineering.
Yes, sir.
Moving out. Commander. Indeed. Medic reporting.
Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Moving out.
At once. Agreed.
Commander. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Reporting. Of course.
Indeed. Indeed. On my way.
Awaiting orders. Agreed. As you wish.
Indeed. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Indeed.
Affirmative. Of course.
Commander. Yes, sir. Moving out.
Yes, sir. Very well. Affirmative.
On my way. On my way.
Reporting.
Yes, sir. Engineering.
Explosive charge placed.
Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Engineering.
Ready and waiting. Awaiting orders.
Indeed. On my way.
Reporting. Awaiting orders. Ready and waiting.
Yes, sir. Engineering.
Ready and waiting. Awaiting orders. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Reporting. Yes, sir.
Engineering. Affirmative.
Acknowledged.
Engineering.
Awaiting orders. As you wish.
Moving out.
Of course. Very well. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
At once. Affirmative. Of course.
Moving out.
As you wish. Very well. Acknowledged. As you wish. As you wish.
Medic reporting. Affirmative.
Agreed. Affirmative.
Affirmative.
Of course.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Agreed. As you wish. Very well.
Yes, sir. Moving out.
Acknowledged. Agreed. At once.
Engineering.
Of course.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Very well.
Explosive charge placed.
Engineering.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Ready and waiting. Reporting.
Ready and waiting, as you wish.
Reporting at once.
Engineering.
Agreed.
Medic reporting.
Reporting, of course.
Yes, sir.
Awaiting orders. Very well.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir?
Engineering. Affirmative. Moving out.
As you wish. Acknowledged.
Awaiting orders.
Commander. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Moving out.
Agreed. Affirmative.
Indeed. On my way. On my way.
Awaiting orders.
Engineering.
Reporting.
Yes, sir.
Ready and waiting.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very well. Of course.
Yes, sir. Commander.
Awaiting orders. Affirmative. Agreed.
Engineering.
Ready and waiting.
Yes, sir.
Agreed. Of course.
Yes, sir. Medic reporting.
Reporting.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. At once.
Engineering. Moving out.
As you wish. Agreed. Of course. As you wish. Affirmative. At once. Agreed. Of course. At once.
Medic reporting. Engineering. Affirmative.
Awaiting orders. As you wish. Agreed.
20
Yes, sir.
minutes remaining.
Awaiting orders. Very well. Of course.
Unit lost.
Acknowledged.
Affirmative.
Unit
Yes,
lost.
sir. As you wish. Of course. Agreed. Agreed. Acknowledged. Of course. At once.
Unit lost.
As you wish.
Unit
At once.
lost. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Engineering. Moving out. Affirmative.
Reporting, as you wish. Ready and waiting. Agreed. Very well.
Reporting. Very well.
Yes.
Unit lost.
Affirmative. Engineering. Moving out.
As you wish.
Yes, sir.
Awaiting orders.
Unit lost.
Reporting. Agreed.
Ready and waiting. Yes, sir. As you wish. Very well. As you wish.
Unit lost.
Commander. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Commander.
Unit lost.
Yes, sir.
Agreed.
Yes, sir.
Awaiting orders.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Agreed. Affirmative. Of course. Agreed. Very well. Very well. Of course. At once.
Commander.
Waiting orders. Of course. At once. As you wish. Ready and waiting. At once. Very well. Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Of course.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Acknowledged. Awaiting orders.
Commander. Commander.
Ready and waiting.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Indeed. Engineering. Yes, sir.
Reporting. As you wish.
Commander.
Reporting. Affirmative. Agreed. Of course.
Affirmative.
Very well.
On my way.
Awaiting orders. Of course. As you wish.
Unit lost.
Engineering. Affirmative.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Affirmative.
Moving out. Moving out. Affirmative.
Waiting orders.
Engineering. Moving out.
Explosive charge
Waiting orders.
placed.
Ready and waiting. Agreed. Acknowledged. At once.
Affirmative.
Medic reporting.
Engineering.
Yes, sir. Agreed. Agreed. Acknowledged.
Yes.
Reporting at once. Agreed.
Engineering. Moving out.
Very well. Agreed. As you wish.
Yes. Moving out.
Waiting orders.
Engineering.
Ready and waiting. As you wish. As you wish. At once. Of course. At once. Reporting. Very well. Agreed. As you wish.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Acknowledged. Agreed. Affirmative.
Engineering.
Affirmative. At once. Affirmative.
Affirmative.
Explosive charge placed.
Moving out. Affirmative. Yes. Engineering. Moving out.
As you wish.
Engineering. Moving out. Affirmative.
Ready and waiting. Acknowledged. Of course.
Yes. Yes. Affirmative.
Reporting.
Engineering. Yes. Affirmative.
Explosive charge placed.
Ready and waiting.
Yes. Moving out.
Unit lost.
Waiting orders. Affirmative.
Engineering.
Agreed. Affirmative.
Affirmative.
Agreed.
Yes. Moving out. Engineering.
Waiting orders. At once. Reporting.
Engineering.
Ready and waiting. As you wish. As you wish.
Moving out.
Of course. Acknowledged.
Moving out.
As you wish. At once. Yes, sir. Agreed. Affirmative. Very well. At once.
Moving out.
Awaiting orders.
Explosive charge placed.
Acknowledged. Of course.
Yes.
Explosive
Ready and
charge
waiting.
mission
Affirmative.
accomplished.